Hi everybody and welcome to the 6th webinar for Diamond Club 2016. We are so excited to still have you on board, to have you listening into our webinars, and for those special guests that we have today we're really grateful to listen to your advice and hear some information that you may be able to provide and skills that you've been able to kind of experience and utilise and share with everybody else. So today I am going to start with the agenda. We will be discussing SMART goals. So what that means is specific, meaningful, action-oriented, realistic and timely goals, and why this is important to you at Diamond Club, especially in this stage of the program and at the beginning of a new year and at the beginning of this planning month that we have at the moment. The other thing that we'll be discussing is about preparing for Diamond Club. So Jade was amazing in terms of the topics that she covered last week, why it's important to plan, and some tips to remember when you are planning about writing lists and kind of getting everything out of your head so that you have a plan of attack moving forward. But also about this month in terms of reaching out and connecting with those people you will be working with for the next few months and how important that is. And as mentioned, we have some amazing guest speakers on board, Mark and Rani, our Blue Diamonds here in Australia, who have sponsored so many of our Diamond Club participants and have really been successful in the information they've provided and the support that they've been able to give to them. So we look forward to having them on a little bit later. So when we talk about SMART goals, the first one is about specific. Specific goals answer the following questions. Who is involved? So who is going to be involved in Diamond Club with you? Is that your family as well, being that support for you and letting them know that you're on board and they're on board, so that when you do kind of change your lifestyle to a certain degree in the next few months that they're aware of what's going on? Is it who those people are that you're going to be spending most of your time with? Predominantly your leaders, your hosts, your sponsors, everyone that you're, I guess, getting to know that little bit better, those people that you've identified as not just leaders but potential qualifying legs, those people that you feel would be great to work with in terms of hosting events, those people that are, I guess, showing some initiative or wanting to be a part of this journey with you, and those people that are building those relationships with you that can go on these trips, that can go on, you know, mini tours if that's what your style is for this Diamond Club, or those people that are going to be there to bring out the best in you so that you are able to succeed to reach your full potential. Who is involved? Maybe write a list about that as well. And there's so many different people. We're all different. You will all have different types of people who are involved in this Diamond Club with you. The next question would be what? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish in the next few months? Is that a rank advancement? Is that, again, connecting with people that you haven't really spoken to that much, or going out of your comfort zone, or reaching greater heights, or increasing your volume? Just getting some more volume coming through? Is it about sharing the product, about really changing lives? Do you want to accomplish what goals to kind of expose people to things that they haven't yet been exposed to, and to share, I guess, doTERRA's oils to people that are going to benefit from them in all levels and ways? The next, I guess, thing or question to ask would be where. So where is your location? Where have you identified your out-of-area location? And how many of those out-of-area locations are you using or utilising? So have you got that list going? Have you got a map up? What have you figured out about your location? Have you researched how long it takes to get there and back? Have you researched what kind of community is there, or I don't know, the population? You know, you can go extreme as you want, or you can just write down the name of the town. You know, it's up to you and what goals you set and how much you want to invest in this as well. Then we've got when. So to establish a time frame. When are we going to achieve these goals? Is that going to be in the first month? Is it going to be at the end of Diamond Club? Is it going to be at the end of the year and we're just utilising Diamond Club as a kickstart for this entire year? Is it going to be, you know, in a week? Are you going to set small goals along the way? So say, for example, tomorrow, I know that by tomorrow I will have achieved this, or I will have made this many calls. Because don't forget, there are still calls and follow-ups that we need to make along the way. It's like a standard enrolment process too. We want to make sure that everyone that we're signing up is still being followed up with and still, I guess, having that attention and nourishment that they need at the beginning of their doTERRA journey. Then we're going to look at which. So we're identifying requirements and constraints. So which requirements do we need to reach our goals? And how far are those requirements going to take us? And how much of those requirements are we willing to kind of invest in terms of reaching that goal at the end? And are there any constraints with those requirements? And if so, how are we going to combat those constraints? Or not how are we going to combat them, but how are we going to work with them? So even though there may be constraints, we still identify it, acknowledge them, and then we work with them so that we can keep moving and flowing along the way. Then we're going to question why. The specific reasons, the purpose, all the benefits of accomplishing the goal. Now this is, I guess, pretty unique to each and every one of you. You are all going to have a specific reason and a specific purpose of participating in Diamond Club initially. There's going to be different benefits for each and every one of you, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, whether that's part of something similar to what I was saying before in terms of impacting lives and sharing oils, all the benefits to your personal network, so your friends and your family, all the benefits to your team, so those people that you are working with and your hosts and your sponsors. So what are these specific reasons, purpose or benefits of accomplishing this goal, and then how does this fit into your lifestyle, not just for now throughout Diamond Club, but for the rest of the year as well. So these specific goals, when you answer the following questions or those questions that we've just covered, will help you and assist you and create that kind of foundation in order for you to pursue them and reach them as you wish in the time that you wish to achieve. I guess the next part of SMART goals is that measurable aspect or the meaningful aspect. So you need to determine if your goal is measurable, and by doing this you need to ask questions such as how much, how many, how will I know when it's accomplished? And I guess we covered a little bit of that before, but how much of this goal or how much of this program is going to impact me and my team, and how much am I going to invest into that to be able to reach that goal? How much am I going to plan? How much am I going to be able to visit and travel and move with the program as well? And how much am I willing to put in some time and energy into everything that is going to help me get to that goal and that end mark? How many people are going to be involved in this? How many products am I aiming to sell? How many journeys am I willing to take? And it's up to you again to determine what your levels of commitment are and how you want to see that end result, and I guess outline what process you're going to take to get there. And then how will you know when it's accomplished? I think that's the biggest thing. Part of this is about accomplishing and reaching those goals, again, whether they're set on a daily basis, whether they're set on a weekly basis, whether they're set on a monthly basis, or whether you've set this as a yearly goal. So we've got a timeline, and then how are you going to know when these goals are accomplished? Again, a list, that can help. Are you going to have somebody accountable that will be able to remind you that you set this goal at this stage and you finally reached it? That's where we're here as well, to help you, I guess, identify those goals and to be able to support you in reaching them. But I think a big part of that as well is that recognition stage. So even if it's something little, and again, Jade touched on this last week, it's those little moments and those little successes that really count, because that feeling of accomplishment and recognition is something that can build that momentum. It's a positive energy that can come in and keep that momentum and create that foundation that keeps you going along the way. So remember to set those little markers there along the way. Now we've got Logan, obviously not back in the country at the moment, so I'm going to get him to go through the rest of those SMART goals as well, about the action-oriented and the realistic and the timely aspects of that, because they're also really important, and that will be before Mark and Rani come along. So we're hoping to get, again, here Logan really soon, but for the minute, Logan, if you can jump on board and I guess continue with why these goals are really important and how we can keep this momentum going, especially during January when we are in this planning stage and trying to identify what we're doing for the rest of the month and the year. Bear with me 2 seconds, and I've got you on now, Logan. Thanks.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Beck, so much for that. And let's go ahead and look at why these goals should be attainable. obviously you're going to want to make a goal that is reachable, a goal that is doable, a goal that is obviously stretching you and pushing you as far as possible to grow and to reach as far as you can in whatever you want, whether it be enrollments or in Diamond Club, in rank advancement, in your commissions that you're earning. You're going to be wanting to make sure that you stretch as far as you can, but make sure that these goals are doable. You don't want to make something that's so far out there that there's no way you're going to be able to reach it. You do want to make these goals so that you can stretch and grow, but not so much that it's impossible for you to reach. You want to make these high goals that are very doable. A part of the attainable is, or as Beck mentioned, it's also, the A is also used for action-oriented. So a lot of these goals you want to make an action to go along with them. So if you have to call someone, or if you have to email someone, or you have to plan the meeting or give the meeting or enroll someone, those are action-oriented goals that are kind of on the lower end or smaller end of what you have to do to reach your larger goals, but that's how you do it. You do the little goals one by one in order to complete the large goal at the end of Diamond Club. And as you go throughout your year, your weekly, monthly, yearly goals, your daily, even hour by hour goals as you have your meetings and training sessions that you're going to be doing. And that's a big part of the planning process this month of January as you go into Diamond Club this year, is to make sure you're setting goals that are attainable and that are action-oriented so that you can kind of check them off your list as you go in order to reach the final goal for that day, that week, that month, and for the program of Diamond Club. And as part of that, kind of attainable is also realistic. They kind of go around the same lines there. You not only want to have it be attainable, you want to let others know about it. You want to have not only you, but your family, your friends, everyone that's supporting you, your sponsors, your team. You want everyone to be involved and willing to work for your goals here so that it benefits everybody. And again, we kind of touched this a lot, but we want to make sure those goals are doable and that you're able to complete them. It's a good stretch, but make sure it's doable. And then you have to have that kind of positive attitude and experience and feeling to be able to know that you can complete it and have that belief that you can accomplish it, have that positive attitude. And I think Jade went over that a lot last week with us, and we really liked that. So, and the last part of the SMART goal is make sure it's timely. So you should establish a time frame in which you want to complete that goal. And obviously that time frame must be realistic. It must be doable, as we've been talking about. You don't want to overdo yourself and get overwhelmed. You want to make small goals as part of your larger goals that are all doable to complete, that are realistic in a specific time frame. And then make sure everyone that is involved knows that time frame so that you can all be working towards that. Make it public so others can be checking up on you, making sure that you're getting each step of the process or goal done in order to reach it in the time which you've planned for. That way you can get a lot of support. Also, the T can also mean tangible, so that kind of goes along with action-oriented. Like the T represents tangible so that it's you can experience it with one of your senses in one way or another. So make sure that you have a time frame set for your goals. And remember not to overdo it, but to stretch yourself. think we're going to go ahead and give it back to Beck here for a minute to go over preparing for Diamond Club and have her introduce Mark Kanani for us as well.
Thanks, Logan. That was amazing. More really specific points. So that SMART goal setting is important. The specific, the measurable, action-oriented, and realistic and timely. So what we do, I guess, in terms of preparing for Diamond Club at this stage as well, along with our planning, is also doing the little things like we call our leaders. So if we haven't already done so, I really encourage everybody to make contact with the leaders in their team. Not necessarily those that are always your qualifying legs or that predominantly, I guess, express interest as a leader, but those that are looking to become builders as well, and for those, obviously, that you are working with as hosts as part of your event. But I guess you can work out a list in terms of identifying all of them. You can call them individually, get on a group call, create a webinar or an experience where everyone gets on board and you're all delivering the same message throughout Diamond Club to your entire team. We also ask that you set goals, which we've spoken about a lot in this webinar, and it's about making schedules as well. So a little schedule, a little time frame. We don't provide necessarily that material in terms of an introductory pack to Diamond Club. That's something that we allow you to customise yourselves. So it's a great opportunity to create something that is going to help you along the way, a little pack or something where you've got those schedules included for the next 3 weeks, which may also include those lesson plans. So what are you going to be presenting at those lessons, or what are your hosts going to be presenting at those lessons? What's your niche? At the moment, obviously, we encourage the Empower Kit because that's the best form of holding a class, hosting a class, step-by-step guide, getting everything there. It's got all the marketing material included. It even has the 10 wild oranges to hand out for those people who bring someone new to the class. That will encourage enrollments as well. I think it's a great kit. I think it's a great tool for those people that are just signing up and that potentially are new and that are being signed up as a result of Diamond Club and don't have that confidence yet. This is the perfect idea, I guess, for them to get one of these on board, and then they can help run these classes. Remember, you're going into areas that haven't necessarily been exposed to doTERRA before, so, you know, there may be a lot of classes kind of coinciding. Then again, we encourage you to kind of work together as teams and, you know, see how many you can hold together. With the preparing, we also ask that we have travel plans in place. This helps with reimbursements in particular because we're reimbursing for some of your travelling, your car rides or your plane flights. Then it's always good to have a collection or some kind of plan that you can fall back on. Say, for example, you forget to pick up that receipt, or you ran from the petrol station and you were in a rush because you had that class in 5 or 10 minutes, and it's like, oh, I wanted to reimburse that. That's awesome. But we need even some kind of evidence there. And this is where that schedule and that travel plan really comes in handy. Even if it means you create this beautiful calendar for 3 months that's got all of those, you know, little spots everywhere that kind of identifies a map of what you're doing, then that all helps. It all helps in that preparation for Diamond Club. So without further ado, I'm now going to introduce our amazing guest speakers. We've got Mark Shepherd and Rani on the phone. They are our Blue Diamonds here in Australia. They started with doTERRA pretty much from the very beginning, and they have extended their team phenomenally. A lot of their team members have participated and succeeded in Diamond Club, and I think that is also due to, I guess, the advice and the support that they have offered as leaders, and the skills that they have been able to, I guess, build on throughout their experience with doTERRA and with Diamond Club alone. They've got 13 diamonds in their team. They've got pretty much markets. They're in a lot of markets, not just Australia, which, you know, is a huge achievement in itself. So I want to hand over for some great advice and information from some of our top leaders here in Australia. So just handing over to you now, Mark. Thank you for coming on board with us, and we'll let you take the floor.
Thanks, Beck. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Thanks, Beck. To all those listening, doTERRA do have a great framework and already have strategies in place to support you in your journey. When we first started, you know, we think we know, we've put everything in place, but it's that ready, set, go, and you're off. And there are a lot of pressures that come on you, whether it be from family or things that you didn't think would happen. So everything that was said today by Beck and Logan do stand true about planning. I am such an unorganized person, so you can imagine what, you know, the Diamond Club did to me. It certainly tried to get me on track, but thank goodness I had Mark, who is going to talk to you now about some of the strategies he put in place to keep me also on track. But I have to say, one of the things I realized that by planning ahead, we actually achieved a lot more in Diamond Club than we ever have. And so to take it seriously from day one, I think is really important. So yeah, Mark, if you can go through some of the things you've written down here, that would be great.
Thanks, Dale. Hi, everybody, and it's great to be great for us to be able to take part in this webinar. And thanks to Beck and Logan, you've heard lots of good advice. doTERRA do provide plenty of support, and when you've got people like Beck and Logan on your side, you realise that you can reach out to them at any time, and it's very, very important to note that. At times things will come up in Diamond Club, and if you can't, if your upline is not able to assist or is not sure or not available, always keep in mind you've got a great lifeline with the people at doTERRA. So Diamond Club, look, there's lots of good advice, and I really don't want to go over in some ways what's been said by both Logan and Beck today about goal setting and those things and planning. Planning is absolutely vital, and to give you a little bit of a tip, this sort of planning that we do for Diamond Club is what we do every day, and it is part of the reason that we've been able to achieve what we have in doTERRA. Strategic planning, always having that plan, always having those goals, re-evaluating and resetting the goals should not just be limited to what you spend doing Diamond Club. It should actually become a part of your everyday involvement in doTERRA if you are a serious leader wishing to grow a successful doTERRA business, share product and reap the rewards that having a large business can actually do. Now, we've done this the hard way and the easy way. We've participated in 2 Diamond Clubs, and we've also sponsored lots of people, as Beck has said. So we have seen it from both sides, the participation and also the sponsoring and assisting and working with those in our team, both in Australia and internationally, where we also have a very, very large team. We participated in our first Diamond Club before it was even in Australia. In other words, it was being run through the US. There was ourselves and another 2 other leaders in Australia, and it certainly allowed us to grow our business. And we did rank advance, firstly to Diamond, and then we participated in Diamond Club ourselves in the first year it was in Australia, and we rank advanced to Blue Diamond. So it truly is a fantastic opportunity. Having said that, it will only become a fantastic opportunity if you seriously consider the information and what you've been told. I understand that Jade, Jade Bladen, at the last webinar, who has done fantastically well in growing a successful business in Australia and has participated brilliantly in Diamond Club, gave awesome advice. It's important to take that advice from people who have both participated, not just in Diamond Club, but also successfully built a business. And as I said earlier, I believe that strategy and planning go hand in hand, and they are key to this. This is not, what I say in many of my presentations and business presentations is that you need to take and recognise that doTERRA, the business that you are in, whether you have just achieved the rank of Premier or whether you're a silver, gold or whatever, this is a serious business. This is a business like anything else. If you get in your car and drive down the street and you pass all the businesses, the small businesses, the shops, the cafes, the restaurants, the builders, the plumbers, they're all working there. That's their business. You sometimes often see tangible things there. They have an outlet, they have a cafe, they have stock, they have staff. What you have is a business. In fact, you've got so many advantages over those people because you don't have stock and staff and things like that. And you really need to treat it as such. And planning and strategies in any business is paramount. One of the key things we talk about always is your thoughts and your attitude when you're planning your goals. Often when we get caught up in Diamond Club, one of the things that we noticed ourselves when we were doing it, and we noticed it particularly in the people we have sponsored, is that it can often get somewhat a little bit overwhelming, where all the thoughts go on, I've got to hit those enrolments, I've got to hit those enrolments, I've got to hit those enrolments. And in doing that, we often feel that you lose the tree, the goal in the forest, where all it becomes about is just getting those enrolments. Certainly that'll help a little bit, but when it comes to actually making something really significant from participating in Diamond Club, it is about having a clear plan and a strategic goal, exactly like Beck and Logan have talked about. In saying that, this is the critical time of Diamond Club, the month before you start. Rani says that I'm well organised. Yes, I am. And Rani's anything but that's not quite true either. But, you know, we all have the potential to procrastinate. You know, it's January and the weather's nice outside, and for me, the sport's on and there's other things happening in life, and it's easy to procrastinate and think, oh, you know, it's still only early in January. I've still got, it's only, what, the 12th today, plenty of time until I get started. One of the real big downfalls of any business is falling into that pattern. Now is the critical time. And what I strongly suggest, and it's been said in all sorts of different ways, but I'll try and make it in what I think is the clear way and the simplest way as to what we did. You need to really have a good look at what your business looks like now. You really need to see what rank you are, where your volume is, how it's distributed throughout your team, and get a really clear idea of where you are now. And then you need to, as Beck and Logan have been saying, to prepare your goals in those ways. You know, are they achievable? Are they measurable? What action have I put in place? But this is the critical step. Where do I want to be at the end of Diamond Club? Where do I want to be? You really need to have that vision, and more importantly, you need to write it down. You need to have it displayed, written down clearly in front of you. We are massively strong on writing goals and displaying the targets that we are sitting and aiming for. We monitor our targets weekly. We have a great big whiteboard where all our team is displayed, where we are advancing, where all our qualifying legs are, where all the goals are, where we're heading for, what volume do we want this month, where the enrolments are coming from. We've done that from day one. And I strongly advise that you take a step back, see where you are now, and fully see and understand what your business looks like now and where you actually want to go to. As I said before, what can happen is that we get so caught up in just hitting that target of 18, I've got to hit those enrolments, I've got to hit those enrolments, that we're not really focusing on areas that those enrolments are critical to. The second thing is, I strongly recommend, is in communicating with the people that you are going to be working with. Those other members in your team, those budding leaders, as Beck mentioned, it's really, really important to be able to make sure that they fully understand your commitment in Diamond Club and what it involves. You see, while we talk about strategies and business, that's fine. This is an emotional business, as Rani keeps reminding me. It's about relationships, it's about friendships, it's about enrolling people, introducing, it's about sponsorship, it's about all those terminologies that people often aren't familiar with. So it's really important that people know that what Diamond Club's about. We hear and saw things in our team and people thought that Diamond Club, oh, if you come to my meeting, you're going to get the enrolment. No, nothing like that. I'm just going to be, you're going to get the enrolment. I just have to count this person in my Diamond Club targets. So it's very, very important that the people you're going to be working with fully understand your commitment to it, what you are trying to achieve, and that they know their place in it. Obviously, they're not going to be disadvantaged. In fact, it's a great advantage for them. It can actually help them grow their business. But clear communication of that in your planning stage in January is absolutely crucial. I urge you all to make sure that the people you're working with fully understand what you're doing there. So once you have assessed where your business is, then it is absolutely critical that you write down your goal. If you are a premier, for instance, and want to be silver, then you know that you need to have 3 elite legs. You know the volume, 3,000. It needs to be down, it needs to be visual, it needs to be written up, and it needs to be somewhere that you can access and see it all the time. You need to put the names and attachments to that so that you know that's where I am going to. I need to have my team structure to look like that. And then the third thing is, once you have that, you must, if you are going to get the most out of Diamond Club, you must plan and match your activity to achieve that goal. You see, we all can fall into the track where it's easy, especially when suddenly you've got to chase some enrolments and you don't want to miss out and you don't want to drop out. And suddenly you start doing work in legs that are easy, legs that are going well. I don't know too many leaders that have legs that all go evenly and all go well. Some are lucky, some are not. But generally there's a saying in this industry that everyone has one strong leg. It's easy to work in that, easy to feel you're doing business, racing around, doing lots of things, but unless the activity is strategically placed, you can double your volume and still end up at the same rank. In other words, all the activity would go into, say, 2 legs instead of 2, 3 across the board. So it's imperative that you look at your business now and write it down and see, where am I now? It's imperative that the people you're going to work with fully understand your commitment to Diamond Club and what you are asking them to do and how it works, so that they're not unclear, so they don't think they're being taken advantage of, that they realise the advantages and how it will benefit them. And thirdly, you have to see the plan of where you are, where you're going to, and the activity must be matched to that. If you do those things, then you will have a successful Diamond Club. When you do those things, you'll find that at the end of Diamond Club, you'll actually have grown your business. And you'll see some really nice things. You'll see things like increased volume, more people, you'll grow as a person. It's a great personal development course. At the end of the day, if we're leaders and if we're serious about this, then there's the return, the financial return from it. So I really encourage you to look at those 3 specific things and plan your strategy and get planning now for those things. It goes without saying that you've got to have your activity and you've got to have your meetings, you've got to have all those things. That's probably been covered by lots of people on how to do that. I like to come from probably more of a high end, where I look down overall in the business, which I think is critical if you really want to take your business to the next level. It's being able to strategically see what you have now, the steps you're going to take to get there, and what it'll look like at the end, and match the activity as to what you're going to do there. The last thing I'm going to quickly talk about is that, again, Diamond Club has a strong focus on enrolments. One of the key mistakes we see is people racing around and getting enrolments after enrolments after enrolments after enrolments. That's fantastic. But the real success of Diamond Club is your retention. How many of those enrolments are now engaged in the business either as a product user or showing some interest in perhaps sharing the products, sharing doTERRA? It's therefore vital that in this planning stage you recognise that you're going to be bringing a lot of people on board. Have you a system and a plan to follow those people up to ensure that those enrolled in the first month are still ordering, or a high percentage of them are still ordering at the end of Diamond Club? One of the key mistakes that are made is we get lots and lots of enrolments in the first month. They never enroll in the second month, so basically your business is not growing as it goes through. So please start looking at that and think, how am I going to connect with these people once they enroll? What system do I have in place? Do I institute a system where you say to them, for instance, once you receive your orders, text me and I'll help you go through it? Because people forget. They forget. Now they come to the meeting, they're all excited, their products turn up a few days later. Now, what did she say? What did he say? I'm not sure. And ensure that whatever system you have, that you train and show the leaders, the others who are going to be the enroller, exactly what you're doing. It's about that duplication of that particular model. It's a really key point that you do not want to have a whole heap of enrolments, and we've seen it happen over and over again. We're really at the end of Diamond Club. Your business hasn't grown because simply you've become a fantastic enrolment machine, but retention has not been high. The key to this business is definitely retention. So think about those things. I hope that information has been beneficial. We wish you all, both Rani and I, wish you all the best of luck. Reach out to doTERRA, reach out to the people there for assistance. Have a strategic plan. Keep calm and focus on the end goal. We want to see lots more diamonds and blue diamonds in Australia. Thanks, Beck and Logan, for having us on. All the best, everyone.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Rani. That was amazing. Really useful information and great to have you on board and for your support as well. Really genuine advice. And I think there's a few key things that really stuck out in that, in what you were saying. I guess, firstly, the opportunities, where to find those opportunities. They're everywhere. Also, in terms of the focus, so where are you going to focus, which really does fall into that structure and that strategy. So when you do set your goals, what structure are you looking for, and making sure that these enrolments are for relevant reasons, I guess, to a certain degree, that when you're enrolling people, that you really have a look at where they're placed, and where you want to, I guess, identify those placements can be done with your upline, it can be with your team members, but predominantly your upline, and then coming to Logan or myself if you have any further questions with that. But I guess the key point and the thing that was finished up there was about the retention and the follow-up and keeping that team structure in place. But what you are currently filtering out to your teams and how you duplicate is really important. It's important to, I guess, the building and the foundation of your team and your tree. And it's also important to the way that you, I guess, spread the product and the way that you promoted it, and also how people are using it. There will be different kinds of people that sign up and that enroll, and you know, it is really good to have something, whether that's a quick email or a phone call follow-up after, you know, a month after, or, you know, a week or a day after. It's just important to touch base with everyone. Think back to when you first signed up with doTERRA and your first moments and your first enrolment package and your order arrived, and, you know, what would have worked then. Because all of these people that are enrolling and jumping on board with us, you know, they also have the same questions as what you all did when you began. So it's really important to nourish and look after everybody as so. So now we're moving on to, I guess, the conclusion, and it's just really going over everything that we've covered in this call. I'll just hand over to Logan again, I guess, to conclude today's meeting. So Logan, thank you all for being on this call, and are you there, Logan?
Yes,
Hi,
can you hear me?
Logan. Yeah, sorry.
There we go. Excellent. So we've had a great webinar today. I hope you've all been taking notes and making plans already for planning and looking forward to what's going to happen and what you're going to be able to attain during Diamond Club this year. I love what Mark and Ronnie have gone over for us today. They've really put it into perspective and help us understand what can be done with really, really good planning and making sure you have everything set and making sure those goals are realistic and attainable, and that you have it all mapped out as they spoke. You can really reach what you want to become and what you want your business to become. So just in conclusion from what Beck and I kind of went over, is to make your goals specific, have them detailed with who, what, when, where, and how you're going to be able to complete them. And that kind of goes through making sure they're measurable. You want to know how much you need of anything, or who's going to be involved in, how many steps are going to be in your goals that you need to complete, and that kind of goes on to have them be attainable and action-oriented, to make sure there's actions, if at all possible, attached to each step in your goals, so that you can know when you've completed them. Make sure they're attainable so that you can reach these goals, that they're not crazy dreams, but they are actual attainable, realistic things that you can do. Which brings us on to our next point, that you want to get everyone involved, and you want to have that belief that you can reach those goals throughout your preparation and step by step while going through your goals. And that you have a specific time frame in which you want to complete those, and that you're working day by day in completing those actions in order to have it done in that time frame that you've set out, and that you've made yourself accountable not only to yourself but to your team and others and your family to help you reach those goals at the time that you've wanted to. And we're just going to go ahead and in there with those resources, we have our Diamond Club website, www.doterradiamondclub.com/AU, and you can reach me through email at diamondclubau@doterra.com. If you have any questions, go ahead and send them over. I'm happy to answer the best I can with the information and questions that you have.
Thanks, Logan. And just quickly, I just forgot to add as well that I know we mentioned that applications have extended to the 15th of this month. Really encouraging everyone to get them in as soon as possible. Again, at diamondclubau@doterra.com. If there are any exceptions, or there are any reasons that you feel that you may not have just missed out on the qualification, or you've reached Premier, or you haven't got a couple of those enrolments in line, please approach us, or please talk to us about it, because we are willing to work with you. We know what it means to be a part of this, and again, it's a program that we have created, or I guess instigated, to help you and I guess start that doTERRA momentum or journey if you haven't already done so as well, and build on that. So we want to do what we can to be here at the moment and start that with you and for you. So please send through as much information as possible. All that means is you fill out the application form to the best of your ability. In a few sentences in an email as well, just list those reasons why you think you may not have completed it 100%, or you may not have reached all of the qualifications, and then we'll be able to sit down and assess how far off you are and look at a program that we can, I guess, implement to help get you there so that you're at that Premier, and then we can keep moving onwards and upwards throughout the program. I think that was it now. I hope you all have an amazing and wonderful day. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, and if there's any other questions in the meantime, just let us know, but otherwise we'll let you get back to your planning and your calendars and everything else that you've got going for the rest of this week. So take care for now. Bye.